Today we're going to talk about the concept of repeated addition versus repeated multiplication. So how do mathematicians write a simpler way to express repeated addition? In my example here, if I take 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 and I add those together 8 different times, how do we express repeated addition in a simpler way? For example, if I ask you to take the number 8 and add it together 50 times, that would take forever for you to enter into your calculator. And probably if you're doing it by hand, it would take forever. So a simpler way for us to express that is by using multiplication. Repeated addition is just multiplication. So I would write that as 8 times 8 equals 64. But how do mathematicians write a simpler way for repeated multiplication? So in this example, I've just replaced the addition signs with multiplication signs, and I'm taking the number 8 and I want to multiply it together 8 different times. Well, I can tell you that that doesn't give you 64 because in the first two terms alone, 8 times 8 is 64. If I look at the next three terms, 8 times 8 times 8, that gives me alone 512. So, repeated multiplication is written as exponents. You have to remember that repeated addition is written as multiplication. So in this example here, 8 to the 8th power is a really big number because you're taking 8 and you're multiplying it together 8 times. A lot of students will look at this and they'll look at the base, which is this number here, the number that they're multiplying. They take 8 and they multiply it by the exponent, which is the power here. So 8 to the 8th power, and they'll tell me that's 64. Well, we just proved that that can't be because exponents are repeated multiplication, and that's very important for you to remember. You're taking 8 times 8 times 8, 8 different times. That gives you a pretty big number, and that number is over 16 million. All right, so remember, repeated addition is written as multiplication. 8 times 4 equals 32. But repeated multiplication is written as an exponent. If you take 8, the base, and you take it to the 4th power, it does not equal 32 because you're taking the number 8 and you're multiplying it together 4 different times. You'll get the answer 4,096. Really big difference here. So on your calculator, how do we figure this out on your calculator? Well, 8 to the 4th power, what you're going to do is you're going to punch in the number 8. Then you're going to punch in the caret, and this looks like a less than or greater than sign that's kind of pointing up. So look for that. It's called a caret, so look for that. And then you're going to punch in the 4 and then hit equals, and you will get 4,096. What I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to take your favorite number, and I want you to add it together 5 different times and write down that answer. So take your favorite number, add that number 5 different times down, and you will get an answer. Write that down. Then I want you to take your favorite number, and I want you to punch in the caret and raise it to the 5th power. So you're multiplying it together 5 different times. And tell me or write down what that number is. If you look, those are two very different numbers. So it's important to remember that repeated addition and repeated multiplication are two different ideas. Hope this helps. I'll talk to you later.